Welcome back to the Rebel's Edge. A little different than usual, but nonetheless the same as usual because I'm at an airport and Pete is somewhere else. But we've got a great Rebel's Edge for you folks. Bunch of stocks, some great movement in the market, and of course, Pete's Rebel Sports on today's Rebel's Edge. Well, Pete, it seems like you're having a good time already.
Well, I can hear some voices in the background, and they're not me and they're not you, but I know where you are. So,
and given that it's Miami, it's a bunch of different dialects too.
Right, absolutely.
Well, let's dive right in, Pete. I'm going to say macro today is that the S&P Eurozone manufacturing was actually up through 50. It hit 52.2 in April. That's the highest reading, Pete, in over 4 years. Wow. And it indicates that factories are coming back in a pretty big way. What do you got today?
I'm just going to say real quick, it's these tensions with the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, all you got to do is take a look at the oil prices, right? I mean, I think people don't pay enough attention to what's important. What you just brought up is very important. But what they're paying attention to is, hey, how much is it going to be at the pump? Because we saw oil today get up to 107. It's hovering around 103 right now. But those oil prices, meaning gas prices, are really starting to ramp up, John, a lot. And people are starting to feel it a little bit.
Yeah, and as they feel it, Pete, it may or may not put a drag on the economy. It hasn't so far, but it's only been a couple of months that we've been in this war, 60 some odd days. How about your VIX, Pete? What do you got going on there today?
You know, it's interesting, John, because we did close underneath 17 on Friday going into the weekend. And then all of a sudden we come up and here we are mid 17s. Then we got all the way up towards 19 in the highs. And we're starting to approach that again. But we've been holding mostly around this settled area of, call it 18 and a half. But now we're starting to see a little bit more of the Dow going down and obviously watching the NASDAQ and the S&P kind of fall off a little bit, and that's going to get that a little bit higher. So we're approaching 19, or we might even be at 19 as we speak. But you know what? It makes sense for the kind of move we're getting today. And I don't just the S&P. I'm talking about the mental side of oil and some of the other things, John, getting in people's head a little bit and makes them a little nervous for sure. That's why I think we're seeing a VIX at, call it 19.
Well, and Pete, exactly what you just said about oil is why I picked this for our prediction market today. Will WTI, West Texas Intermediate, in other words, light sweet, as it's called, hit these prices in 2026? 115, 70% chance. Over 110, 84% chance. Under 95, 75% chance, and under 90, 60 or 59% chance. So the prediction markets are kind of putting it down there, Pete, saying we may see higher and we may see lower. In other words, they're as confused as everybody else.
Yeah, and you know what? If being a betting man, which I kind of am, I guess, to some degree, I would go with the 110, 84%. I mean, we were just scratching up there, John, just today at 107. So we kind of pushed our way up there. So to get there, I don't think doesn't seem so far-fetched. And, you know, obviously a couple of bad headlines about Iran and everything else and what's going on in the Strait. And I think we could see this start to pop up just a little bit more. I don't know about 115. That seems like a long shot. But 110 seems to be right there and sniffing against it right now.
Well, let's dive right into stocks, Pete, because I know that's what people tuned in for. Crypto. And when you see that Bitcoin moves over 80,000, and you were talking about this last week, the range had been like 65, 75. We started to push up to 77, and now we broke through 80. So that really helped Circle, CR, CL, and a whole host of the other both stable coins as well as some of the players that hold a lot of Bitcoin, like MicroStrategy, now known as Strategy.
Mm-hmm. And John, I'll tell you, I'll go to the other side. What was the place that everybody wanted to park when they were watching what was going on with Bitcoin and stuck into that 65, 75,000 for a while? How about the price of gold that got all the way up to 5,300? Now today it's trading significantly lower. Let's call it 4,500. There were places that people were moving, and now they've been moving them again, especially as we've seen this approach to the 1750 or 75,000, but now going all the way up to 80,000 plus. That says that people are getting a little bit more of that risk on type of trading. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing here. And it's why so many names in crypto, and you named a couple of them, I'll even throw out like a Hood or something like that. If crypto's going higher, those are the names that are going to go up with it.
Yeah, like Coinbase especially, and like you said, Pete, any of the ETFs that are around it as well. Yeah. And by the way, I'll be speaking at Crypto Mondays over in South Beach this afternoon in about 2 hours. 3 o'clock over there, I'll be there with Mark talking about trends in the market and so forth, and then doing a dinner with a bunch of people that might want to have a little something to do with our investment bank that you and I started this past year, Pete.
Nice.
Bang.
Yep, bang.
All right, let's dive into eBay, because out of nowhere, literally, folks, nowhere, GameStop, which is that big compared to eBay, just jumped because GameStop decided to submit a non-binding proposal to buy 100% of the company at $125 a share. Well, as you might imagine, $55 billion, they claim they can get it together, Pete. I don't know if they can for sure, but people had to believe it, at least on the surface, because they chased this thing up, and we had unusual option activity, of course, in here. Whenever we have that, we love it. I know that the customers love it, Pete, because look at that one from the 1st, which was last Friday, or the day before, the 30th. You saw eBay, they were coming in buying the 106 calls, and that's with the stock at 104. And then with the stock at 103, they came in for the 106 calls again. Those are the two big trades, and both of them worked out pretty well as eBay to the upside today.
Yeah, not so bad, John. An unbelievable move for all of this. And they're doing this in cash and stock, and they've got a price, like you said, $55.5 billion. They're going to have to do a lot of leveraging to kind of get that money, John. I mean, the whole company itself, when you look at GME, is $12 billion. So, you got to scratch your head a little bit, but it doesn't mean it can't happen. We've had it in the past. There are many results that we've seen where we're seeing people, companies rather, that are able to get those numbers that are quite a bit bigger than they are themselves. And that's something that it looks like they could potentially do that. They've been building this position that they started, John, back in February, all the way up until now when they've made this move. So I'm not saying it's going to absolutely happen, but I'm going to say that they're positioned so it can definitely happen if they want. And it will be very interesting to see how this thing, sort of mixes itself up. And right now we're looking at eBay up 5%. You're looking at GameStop down 5%. But it's going to be very, very interesting couple of months, I think, with this one.
Well, and a lot of financing needed. That we'll see. This will really put GameStop to the test there. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at FedEx, Pete, because all these shippers, FedEx, UPS, CHRW, anybody who moves things either in the air or on the ground is kind of hit today, because Amazon announced Amazon Supply Chain Services. So we all know about AWS, Amazon Web Services. This is supply chain services, which bundles logistics as well as freight and fulfillment. This is a pretty big deal, and it flies right in the face of all the people that usually make money off of a company like what, for instance, Amazon does, delivering packages.
Yeah, it's amazing, John, and you said exactly the right thing. And but when you talk about AWS, by the way, they have 28% growth. They're growing very rapidly and strong, and they've gotten, it seems like, bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's a huge piece, and they are the biggest out there. So is this something that is plausible? Absolutely. And I wouldn't be shocked to see some of these companies take a little bit bigger hit into the not too distant future, John, because the supply chain services like you're talking about, I mean, we're talking about a network with freight and parcel deliveries and fulfillments and all the rest of this. There's a lot to this. And I think Amazon, given what they've already been able to create, this isn't so far-fetched, and this is going to be something I could see a lot of growth coming out of this over the next 5 years or the decade or whatever, as we travel across the things with Amazon.
Yeah, I think, Pete, what we're likely to see is that it'll take a chunk out of each of these companies, whether it's XPO Logistics, a company where our former chief technology officer went over there to run them. He really helped them ramp to the upside. And I think, if you strip off 10% or even 15 or 20% off of each of these, UPS, FedEx, CHRW, XPO, all of those types, it's going to leave a mark.
Yep.
It's not going to put them out of business, but it might cause a little more consolidation in that space in order for them to compete.
Yep.
All right, we've got one more stock to check out today, Pete. American Express Global Business Travel. So they're going to be taken private by a company called Long Lake Management, all cash, 6.13 billion or 6.3 billion, I guess, Pete. That's going to be a big deal. Basically, you're going to get $9.50 per cash, which is a 65% premium over where GBTC was trading, Pete. That's a pretty big deal for a Monday, right?
Yeah, hitting 52-week highs just underneath 9.5, and it's up 57%. You can see it there trading, 933. It hit 939 was the high. But John, how about this? 54 million shares trading today. Its average is 1.5 million shares in a day. So it gives you a little idea about how big this is. $6.3 billion all cash deal from Long Lake Management. Pretty interesting, and it seems like something that's going to just fly right through the way it's looking. You know what? I think there's nobody fighting against this thing, and this could be very, very interesting into the future as well. But this is this is an amazing morning and now into the afternoon as we're watching how fast this has been moving to the upside and no pullback. I mean, the stock basically jumped up to a level and it stayed there for the rest of the day so far, at least. So pretty daggone interesting. It tells me that people think this is going to happen, and it's going to happen pretty quickly.
I think you're right. And keep in mind, folks, that you might be looking at the 10-year or whatever metric you use, and you might say, gosh, are they going to finance at this rate? Well, maybe they're betting that by the time they actually would have to pay, Pete, which would be 3 to 6 months down the road, that the rates will be lower. And I would be betting right with them on that bet. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. All right. I know you guys love these little videos that we put up as well. So we're going to show you a little something here about Mr. Irrelevant. And it's not about Purdy, but check this out.
I love the Mr. Relevant pick every year, but especially this year because this guy has a really cool story. If you don't know what the Mr. Relevant pick is, it's the person who is picked last in the NFL draft every year. A notable Mr. Relevant is Brock Purdy, the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. And this year's Mr. Relevant is Red Murdoch, linebacker from Buffalo, picked with the 257th overall pick by the Denver Broncos. Now, Red Murdoch's used to not being the center of attention as he was one of 6 siblings growing up. And his early achievements were not on the football field, but in the classroom as he took the SOL, which is a standardized test in Virginia, and he got a perfect score on it in 8th grade. Then he goes to high school in Hopeville, Virginia, where he becomes a state champion alongside his teammate, Travion Henderson. Oh yeah, and before he even graduates high school, he gets his AA degree. This guy is super smart. But unfortunately, when he graduated high school, he did not have any Division I offers for football. So he enrolls in the Fork Union Military Academy to try and pursue his goal of becoming a D1 athlete. While there, he leads the team to an 8-0 undefeated season, and he picks up an offer from Buffalo, and that's where he enrolls. And after redshirting his freshman year, he comes in and dominates right away. He has 60 tackles, 9.5 tackles for loss, and 4 forced fumbles. Then in his redshirt sophomore year, he has historic numbers. 160 tackles, 16.5 tackles for loss, and he sets an NCAA record forcing 7 fumbles in a single season. So you would think he would enter the transfer portal after such a dominant year at a low-level school.
He stayed.
No, he comes back for his junior redshirt season, and he puts up pretty much the same stats. 142 tackles, 13.5 tackles for loss, and he has 6 forced fumbles. Let's look back at those forced fumbles numbers. So as a redshirt freshman, he forces 4 fumbles. As a redshirt sophomore, he has 7, and then he ends his career with 6. That's 17 forced fumbles. It's an NCAA record. He accomplishes
That's
this
amazing.
record in basically 3 seasons of playing. Just unbelievable. Now you may be wondering, who had the record before him? Khalil Mack. You know Khalil Mack, the top 4 pick of the NFL draft, an all-time legend of the game? Guess where he went to school? Buffalo. Oh, and by the way, what's Red's real name? Because his name's not Red. It's Khalil. But if you can't already tell by the smile on this guy's face, he is just an awesome guy, and I cannot wait to root for him in the NFL. Super proud of this year's Mr. Irrelevant. I love.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not be rooting for that kid, Pete? Gets his associate arts degree. That's the degree I got in junior college as well. But I went to school there for 2 years. This kid got it in high school. I mean, that's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you're right. That's a guy you want to pull for because he's done everything. I mean, he's done everything you'd ever want. I mean, I'm sure his family's unbelievably proud of all the different accomplishments already. And especially on the football field, I mean, the kid seems to have all the numbers that you'd want, John. I don't know how big, how fast he is and all the rest of it, but that guy knows how to find the football, which I'd rather see a guy on tape who can do what he does rather than some guy who can jump 42 inches but doesn't know where the ball is. So, I mean, you know, this is actually a kid who actually plays damn good football as well and smart. All right, John, here's where we're going to go. The Big Ten, NCAA distribution of money. You know how much the Big Ten got this year in their distribution from the NCAA? $1.37 billion in revenue for the 2024-25 season, John. I mean, and it started because they got to that number. They've got 18 members that jumped by 500 million once they added the last 2, which was Oregon and Washington. But it's up 55% in the last year as far as the money that's going there. I mean, just to give you a little comparison, the SEC announced they got $1 billion. Well, the Big Ten got $1.37 billion. I mean, these numbers are ridiculous, but I'll tell you what, these schools are all needing the numbers, John, because they're using this very quickly to spend and do all the things that they want to get the program and get the players and everything else. It's just amazing the kind of money there. And I figured because of the two of us being money guys and former football guys, linebackers, I just wanted to run this one by you. They were the first 12-team football playoff that also added this huge amount of money. I mean, it's unbelievable what's going on in college sports, John, and the dollars that are adding up. But in some ways, it shouldn't be all that surprising, right? I mean, I think college football is starting to pass the NFL to some degree. It's just unbelievable what they're able to accomplish. But what do you think about this money that these guys are bringing in? It's unreal.
Well, I'd say, Pete, the fact I just looked up the numbers when you said you wanted to cover this, and the Big Ten network right now, they say, is worth around $7 or $8 billion. That's the Big Ten network. So
that's
as
amazing.
You, the viewers, know, many teams sign on with broadcasters. Famously, I think Notre Dame might have been the first, Pete, that basically got NBC because some guy at NBC went to Notre Dame and he signed them up, and it was a great deal. In fact, a great deal probably for NBC because they don't care if it's split up between a whole league or just one team, as long as that team draws the numbers. And indeed, that's what they've done, drawn big numbers. And that's why, you know, out of nowhere, Big Ten Network. I mean, I remember when my nanny worked there, Pete, you know, the nanny for our kids, Brittany, she worked there at the Big Ten Network. And now $8 billion maybe, or what they're worth.
That's pretty amazing. That is amazing. Yep. All right. How about a little Major League Baseball, John? Now, who's at the very front of everything in Major League Baseball right now? Well, is it the Mets? No. Is it the Yankees? No. Is it the Dodgers? No. It's a little town. Well, it's not that little, actually, but it's Atlanta. And Atlanta is absolutely dominating right now in Major League Baseball, John. And here's just a few of the different numbers that I've got for you. They lead the the MLB in runs scored. They're top 3 in runs against. They're top at playing away games. They're 13-4. Nobody's very close to them on that one either, John. And then this guy, Matt Olson, who I'm sure there's a lot of baseball guys who really understand and love this guy and everything, but I don't think he's the household name that like Shohei Ohtani or something like that. but he's got 11 home runs. It's into top 5. He's batting number 1 with 31 runs batted in, John. He's also got a few other numbers that are just off the chains. And then they've got a pitcher, Chris Sale, who's been there for a while. He's an amazing guy. He's had a great year. He's got 6 wins already. So Atlanta seems to have everything going the right way right now. What do you think about these guys? I mean, and poor Ohtani, he's gone 4 games without a hit. So he's getting probably pretty frustrated. He's 0-14 in his last 4 games. Not so
Well, Pete, yeah, these guys, Atlanta has not lost a series to anyone. I mean, I know that they start playing basically in early April, but I mean, here we are in some cases late March. But here we are, and they haven't lost a series. Their percentage win is like Babe Ruth's number, 714, as far as the number of home runs Babe Ruth put up or whatever. I mean, they are next level for sure. And like you say, it's a combination of pitching and power because of that home run hitter that you mentioned, Olsen. I mean, yeah, the Yankees have 2 big home run hitters, but it's a question of who's on base in front of them and did they drive in runs? And obviously, I think the world of Judge, Pete. But man, this Atlanta team, if they stay even close to this hot into the All-Star game, which is still May, June, July, 3 months out. Yeah, it's a ways out.
Yep. Well, that's it for the sports, man. I just thought that was really cool, and I love to see somebody out there, Atlanta being it this year, where they're just really having an unbelievable year. And Ohtani, he'll bounce back sooner or later, but he's got to be pretty frustrated right now, John.
Yeah, he's not getting much to hit, Pete, is part of it. And that's been true forever. I know it's not brand new, but they try to give this guy the crap pitches all day long and every once in a while hit him to brush him back off the plate. But when he gets back into his groove, he will still put up some astounding numbers.
Cool.
Well, thanks for joining us today, folks. I'll be at Crypto Monday, as I say, here in Miami today, and then flying up tomorrow, Pete, to be on with, I think, Charles Payne.
Oh, nice.
On Charles Payne making money tomorrow, and with Grant Cardone at the Market Movers conference that's going on over by the New York Stock Exchange tomorrow. So busy day again tomorrow. But I hope all of you guys have a great day. And Pete and I will be back tomorrow. What time, Pete?
We're going to be doing it at 1 p.m. Eastern time, John. Giddy up, baby.
Bang.